So as it turns out, Black Widow almost featured our first official mention of anything relating to Doctor Doom. Unfortunately, that was cut by Marvel Studios, because they probably have their own plan that's more ambitious. In a recent interview with Eric Pearson, who is the man that wrote Black Widow, he revealed that when it came to the drafts of Marvel Studios' Black Widow and making the final passes on the script, that there was a reference to multiple other things in the MCU. The ones they got to keep were the likes of Crimson Dynamo, Ursa Major, and a few other things. Now, he mentions one thing that he put in there that was cut when Marvel Studios told them to remove it because there just wasn't a place for it, was the fact that they mentioned a country in Eastern Europe and that it was named Latveria. Now, quite obviously, Latveria, the association with Doom, is the only thing it can be. And many people figure that maybe Latveria would somehow be connected to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because Sokovia, probably near Latveria, somewhere in Eastern Europe, but that didn't end up happening, although they easily could have. And now knowing it's been cut from this quite clearly means that Marvel Studios has a more long-term plan for Doctor Doom and what comes next and when they mention him, or even what they're going to do with that character when he joins Marvel Studios. And I honestly will not be surprised if it's completely different and they're just waiting to establish Latveria as something that's really unexpected, or maybe even part of this whole multiverse thing that we don't know of. Like, for all we know, the multiverse could have fractured so badly that Latveria exists out of nowhere now. It's like, oh, it's just always been here. You know, it makes more sense than mutants at least. But you also have to remember that during the development of Black Widow, they didn't even have a clear idea of when the Fantastic Four would be introduced. Like, when they were developing Fantastic Four very early on, it was post Black Widow already being shot and everything. So at the time that they were writing the first pass of Black Widow, it was only a few months after the acquisition of Fox. So quite obviously they were like, hey, we can't put that in there. We don't even know yet. They probably didn't even have a concrete idea of when the Fantastic Four would be announced, which has since happened. And people I've seen online talk about this being cut and, you know, being pointless to cut it. But again, think about when Black Widow was being written. Because it wasn't last year, because last year was completed. And they shot it a year before that. Like, this film had a finished script, or at least the outline of the script and all the mentions and Easter eggs, like 3.5 years ago. At that point, Fantastic Four was just something that was, hey, we're gonna get that soonish, we'll reference it down the road.